This week's video is sponsored by Squarespace. Well, good morning. You probably can't see anything because it's still dark out, but you could probably just make out the sky. This is the start of another little trip here in the Canadian Rockies. I'm here with Amanda and Gavin, and we're in Canmore, and we're just going to the little ponds at the Three Sisters, which I have never actually photographed, surprisingly. But is that Mount Ling?
That's Ha Ling Peak there.
What's it called?
Ha Ling.
Ha Ling. Right, well, I managed to get one shot, but that's all I really need. How about God? How about you?
Oh, I got a killer shot.
Killer,
Well,
killer shot.
As killer as you can get from this spot.
Oh.
You know, I mean, it would be killer if there was like mist. And
Mist. Have you ever been up here when there's mist?
never.
No.
I've been up here when it's partially frozen, and you can actually get ice bubbles like at Abraham Lake right here. It's pretty cool.
I wonder if they actually get mist here.
I'm sure they do, because it's a bit of a flat plain with lots of grass. I bet they do.
There's actually other photographers here today. Big surprise, that.
It's my fault.
It's a very popular area as well.
Well, I mean, my pictures of this are quite famous.
Are they?
Yeah, so to be expected, really. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
You were able to fit this in your frame with that boxy little lens you've got there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vertical?
Oh, you got to do a pano, have you?
No, just vertical.
Oh, you're just taking a little vignette of the overall scene. I see. I
God.
can lend you the 23 if you want to borrow it.
I've already got a 23.
It's still not wide enough.
It's wide enough.
That's what she said.
They're coming out with a new one, Fuji.
What is it? What's it going to be?
I don't know.
But it's going to be wider than that, 23.
Supposedly.
Hopefully they'll give me that as well.
Did they send you the new zoom lens?
All I've got is the 23 prime, the 32 to 64, is it?
Yeah, that's a good lens.
And then is it 100 to 200?
Yeah.
So I've got those three.
Oh, those are good lenses.
They're all brilliant.
Yeah.
Just need that wider, and really I'd like to get a more telephoto, like a 600
Yeah, that I don't think that's going to happen.
with a constant
It
aperture.
would be way too big.
Well, it's already way too big, this gear.
You can use you can put a 1.4 on.
I've got that.
Yeah.
Well, it halves your aperture, and it still doesn't give you much reach. Like that Sony 100 to 400.
Well, that's why I kept the Nikon.
Yeah, exactly.
But I haven't used it in a couple of years, so I don't know. I might get rid of it.
Well, how much do you want for it?
I don't know. A lot. I'll sign it.
Well, that's worth less then.
You
damaged
don't
it.
want to use a D850.
I don't, because it's even bigger than this.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, I've been shooting mostly with the Fuji on this trip, and then occasionally I'll shoot with the Sony. And when I pick that Sony up, it is half the weight.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like that it's as much camera, but it's like a toy. It's like a little toy in your hands. It's
What
so-
about a Nikon, the Z system?
Yeah,
Are
well,
they-
a lot of people have recommended that, but I got in touch with Nikon and they were a bit snooty.
Oh, they are a little bit.
Oh,
aren't they?
well, fill in this form and we'll consider your application. F off. Fuji are the only camera manufacturer that bothered to get in touch.
Well, because they realise that they want to get people to use their cameras, right?
Well, they recognise true talent as what it is.
The light's going to happen again.
Oh, nice.
See the light here. So the light kind of disappeared from the peak. My God, what have you been eating?
Beans.
How come you're not letting them rip?
Because mine only happens if I eat gluten.
Oh. Oh, the clouds are picking up now. Oh, it's going to be nice. Okay, so I must admit, I was rushing around a bit this morning, and even though I did get a photograph of that beautiful light. Oh, the light's happening now. I wasn't really that happy with the foreground. There's big man-made boulders. That's the problem with coming to a new area. If you don't give yourself time to search around for some kind of composition, then you kind of have to rush around and just see what you can get. But I think I quite like this here. I've just got the grasses in the foreground and the fall colour in the background, all those poplars. Oh, this is beautiful. Look at Mount Rundle. So over here, Gavin says it's Mount Rundle, but I don't think it is Mount Rundle.
It's Rundle. It's the east end of Rundle. I've hiked up there.
But you can see the light on the mountains there. It's beautiful.
Oh my god.
I think Gavin's just had
It's so gorgeous. Oh my god. Oh my god.
So I really love that light on the mountains there with the brooding clouds, and then over here we have these poplars that have direct sunlight on them, and of course they're yellow, so have this warm light, and then the brooding clouds in the background have this nice contrast to the blue light, so they really stand out from that dark brooding clouds. Just beautiful. Okay, I'm just trying to get into the shade here a little bit. I'm waiting for the light to change. So what I really love about this scene is when there's a little bit of light on the peak, and not so much on the mid-ground trees. So I'm just waiting for, hopefully, the clouds are really moving in quickly, but a little bit more light on the peak and then less on the foreground. And what I've done here is I've just found some a grouping of leaves and some grasses in the foreground, and just put those in there, and then you got the reflection. It's a pretty standard shot. I must admit that the 23mm isn't quite wide enough on the Fuji GFX, so perhaps I think Fuji are actually going to come out with a wider lens. But I don't actually use it that often. I don't do grand landscapes that often, so I don't know if I could justify buying another wide-angle lens. Looks like that might be the end of the light. Anyway, I'm going to see if I can get some shots of the last light on the peak here. Wow, that was a wonderful shooting session this morning. So we've just driven up the road a little bit. I'm just going to have some breakfast, and we're kind of deciding where we're going to go next. And the weather's not looking terribly great for the Rockies for the next 2 or 3 days. So we've decided to head on down to southern Alberta, closer to the prairies, to an area called Riding on Stone, which I have been to once, many years ago. It's a really cool area. There's the Milk River, and then there's a bunch of hoodoos there. So we're going to see what we can get there, because the weather's supposed to be a little bit nicer there. In the meantime, I'll show you what I've done to my van really quickly. I still got quite a ways to go before I finished, but I thought what I would do is go on a couple of trips to try and get a really good idea of where I want things to be, like storage space and so on. So far, I have this outside cooking area. I've moved the propane tank so that it's not in the way of the light. This slides in and out, so I can cook outside, or I can run the gas line through one of the windows or such, and I can actually cook on the counters inside. Or I also have my little stove, my little MSR jet boil type stove that I can just use to boil water, which is a little bit quicker than having this all set up. The reason why I went this way is because using those green tanks, they're quite expensive. They're about $7 or $8 now, and they don't last that long. So filling up a propane tank is a cheaper alternative in the long run. The cooler, I have the space for the cooler, and then I have my space down here for my camera bag. I'll probably end up doing what Tom did, where he had a hatch go this way. Originally I was going to have a hatch that went up, but I think it'll be too awkward to get in, and also it'd be nice to have a little shelf here so I could rest gear on the bottom here. This area here, I'll probably put a drawer in, some kind of drawer to hold bits and pieces, pots and such, and then this whole area here eventually will be boxed in, and I'll use that for food storage. And then on the inside I've put in a couple of sliding doors down here. That's where my water is, and then that area there, that'll also be boxed in with some drawers and such, and that's where I'll put all my clothing and so on. This of course has added quite a bit of weight to the van, so the rear is quite low, so I'm going to have to sort that out. I'll probably have to get it jacked up a little bit. Eventually I'll put some slightly larger tires on, new rims, and I might even get the front bumper done, and I might even put a roof rack with some kind of awning and such. So it's coming along, but you know, it all costs money, and it takes time to do. The bed turned out excellent. It's worked out really well. Karen and I have used it a few times now, and it's really good, so I'm really happy with the design. That's it for the quick van tour or update for now. I'm just gonna have some breakfast, and then I guess we'll be on our way. It's about a 4-hour drive, so it's a little ways to get to Riding on Stone. Let's see, this is where all the magic happens. Oh, don't worry mate, I'll blur that out.
Thanks.
Are you going to show us your picture?
Oh right, yeah.
Are you going to ruin the surprise?
Well, it's going to be probably 2 months before I post my own video.
Look at that, eh?
Look at that shot.
Oh, getting a lot of glare here.
Only took 4 days to get that shot, and many shriveled testicles.
Many.
I must admit, that is a nice shot.
You like that one?
I do. It's almost as good as mine.
Let's not argue about that. So,
They're both beautiful.
they're both pretty.
This is quite luxurious.
Yeah, but it's only there's only enough space for 2, though.
Yeah.
It gets to little squishers.
Yeah.
I don't really like the wood cabinetry though.
It's very 1990s.
It is. And they're still making it out of that, aren't they?
I don't know what they're doing it now. They're quite posh now, actually.
It's probably plasterboard.
Come on in.
So how much are one of these new now, you think?
50.
I'm going to say maybe 50 grand new.
50?
The only thing I would ever change with a camper, the only thing I don't like is that you can't get into the truck.
Right.
It's separated. Now that does have benefits, because like if you've got stinky wet gear or whatever, you can just leave it in the truck and it doesn't create a problem in here. But you know, if you ever had a problem with some psychopath trying to break in, you can't escape. You've got to face them.
No, there's a fire escape outside. I don't know how hard that
Yeah,
is to open.
all they got to do is walk around and they're waiting for you.
Yeah, but we've got our machetes in here.
We've got all kinds of illegal. We've got all kinds of deterrents. So yeah, we'll be all right.
Your gas being number one.
Lovely light, eh?
It is.
We've had fantastic light all day. Oh, is it quiet light, Adam?
This is... Well, I don't think I'll ever get that vision out of my head. It was more like moonlight. Still, it was a good incentive to get away from Gavin as far as possible and get on our way to riding on stone. Right, we finally made it to riding on stone, and what a fascinating area. Just beautiful. It's a long drive, but well worth it. I'm just hiking without my camera gear, just to kind of see if we can find some compositions here. I remember last time I was here, I found it a little bit difficult because there wasn't any really standout pinnacles or arches. I mean, they are around, but a lot of the stuff is at the same level, so it's a little tricky here, but I'm sure we'll find something. The view in front of me is actually really nice. I'll just turn it around. It's too bad the road's in the way, and you can see there's little pinnacles in there, and then we have cottonwoods, and then we have some nice cliffs in the background there. Beautiful. And this is the Milk River down here. And over there we have Mr. Hardcastle and Amanda. Once again, I'd like to thank Squarespace for supporting my channel and sponsoring this week's video. One of my favorite features of a Squarespace website is the ability to quickly and efficiently update a gallery or page either from a desktop computer or while on the fly using the Squarespace app from my mobile device. Loading multiple images onto a page is quick and offers the ability to change a design or page quickly and elegantly without any coding knowledge. Want to sell your products? No problem. Setting up shop is also quick and intuitive. Sound interesting? Why not head over to squarespace.com and try it for free? And if you like what you find, use the code AdamGibbs for 10% off your first purchase. Good morning, everybody. Oh, excuse me while I catch my breath. What a gorgeous morning. This morning I've come up on that. So we're in a bit of a valley with these hoodoos, and getting around them is quite, well, it's not that difficult, but there are trails that you have to kind of stick to, and because of vegetation and such. So yesterday I ended up at the bottom of the valley, and it's okay. Everything looks much better from the top. So I've just come right to the top of the gorge, and I'm just walking along the crest here. And yes, it is much easier. So it looks like we got a few clouds this morning, which is nice because this area is generally quite dry and sunny most of the time, but we do have some clouds coming from the west, so they are starting to light up a little bit. There are clouds to the east as well, so but you can probably see the line of colour out there. So I'm just heading back to where I was yesterday, and we'll see what the light does over there. The only trouble is I just got to figure out where I was yesterday. All right. I've made it to the location that I was at last night, but of course this morning the light is going to be quite different. So the clouds are starting to light up nicely, but I'm not really sure where to set up. Like yesterday evening, looking this way, it looked quite spectacular, but of course we're going to be looking into the sun, so we're not going to be getting light on these, so they're going to be quite backlit, and you can't really backlight a rock very well. Facing this way, of course, the light is much better. The only way that you can really tell if the light is going to hit a certain pinnacle or not is because you can kind of see the shadows that are being cast on the pinnacles that are behind. Well, I really screwed that one up. I just could not find a composition, believe it or not. And the clouds were quite red. And this kind of glowed with a bit of an orange glow, but I just couldn't find a composition. And of course, I ended up in an area that was hard to get out of. So I ended up settling for this, and I quite like this because it has, there's a cottonwood in there. You might not be able to see it in the final result. And there's a reasonably prominent pinnacle right there, but of course there's no light on this, so it looks quite flat in the canyon. But the clouds are quite nice. The only part that I don't like is there's a section over here that's quite worn from people walking on it, or it's quite flat, so it'd be great if there was more pinnacles in there or something. But I think I found a decent composition because we have these rocks in the foreground here, but of course they are going to be in the shade when the sun eventually comes up. And the sun has risen. I don't think I'm in the right place though. I am getting a little bit of side light, but it looks like the place to be is over here. You can see these hoodoos here. They're lit up quite nicely. Where I am, most of it is in shade. The only redeeming quality about this one is that where the light is right on that cottonwood, which is really nice. So I am taking some shots of here. I am taking some shots here because we're getting a little bit of side lighting on certain points, and that really makes the pinnacles stand out quite nicely. I especially love, there's one over there and there that really stand out. So that might be a possibility for perhaps tomorrow morning. Get set up over there. At least now I know where to go. Oh, what a beautiful location. It's very quiet this morning. Well, after quite a bit of scrambling around, I finally found a spot that I think has probably the most potential that I found so far. There's some really great kind of rock formations, and I know that in the morning they'll get first light because these are the ones that I was looking at from over there that I couldn't get to, and the background will be in shade. So I have taken some shots now just in case, because you never know what the weather's going to do, but I'm definitely going to come back here probably tonight and tomorrow morning as well, because I think this has the best potential. I've been taking quite a few panos because the sky isn't terribly interesting, so I've eliminated quite a bit of the sky and just have the rock formations. So but I think that's it for this morning. There are some areas over here that look like they have a lot of potential as well, so perhaps this afternoon go for a hike out over to that area and see what's happening over there. But I don't know what happened to Gavin. Him and I got up at the same time, and we were a little bit late as usual, so I just took off to see what I could find. So I'm sure he's hiding in the rocks here somewhere. Once again, Gavin trying to steal the center of attention. Thank you ever so much for everybody for watching this week's video. I really appreciate it. If you can give me the old thumbs up, that would be great. And if you're interested in watching more content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button. As a side note, if you'd like to support my channel in other ways, I now have a 2022 calendar for sale, my third printing of Quiet Light, and a zine called Aspen, which is a collection of photographs taken in 2020. So go and check those out at kozubooks.com. Till next week, bye-bye.